Let's break the mold and stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Welcome to Stanley on 7. We're here until it's here.
Welcome back. This is Stanley on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast, a Pull Tab Sports production. I'm Ryan Carter with John King. John, I've got to ask you, it's officially fall, and you look like one of those guys that just goes all in on fall. I see you've got the scarf on, you've got it tucked, you went loop, pull, drag, tuck in the jacket. Does your neck get that cold?
I'm a guy who wears a jacket all the time this season. So I don't even know why I change clothes every day. I should just wear the same thing because all you ever see is my jacket and scarf. I like the scarf. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, but what makes you feel good about the scarf? Like there's a lot of colors. It seems to have brightened up your day, but why the scarf?
Well, I don't like drinking wine because I've described it as someone hugging you all the time. That's how it makes me feel, a wine buzz. But on the flip side, that's kind of how a scarf makes me feel, and I do like doing that.
So you don't like wine because are you not a hugger? I'm not a hugger. I hate hugging.
Yeah, just when like you're at a event and your cheeks get flush.
Yeah, from drinking wine.
Or just I don't get that from drinking wine. I don't have that like effect, but that's what it feels like when you drink wine, even if you don't have the flush cheeks.
So fall, what's your go-to drink? Are you like one of those guys that goes to like a pumpkin spice latte or
Manhattans? Love them.
Yeah.
Love them. I love the drink at Aqua. It's like a jalapeno kind of bourbon deal.
Oh, a little spicy.
Excellent. Everybody loves the Tom Collins over there.
Not the Jameson ginger.
Do they also have that at Aqua?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a passion chili sour. That's what it's called.
Wow.
And his wife makes it, Nicole.
Wow.
It's great.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the first to wish you and our listeners a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So, again, Thanksgiving, what's your drink of choice? Are you an amber ale kind of guy? Like what do you kick off? What do you have with your turkey?
Well, I think we're hosting. I think I'll probably do cocktails. I have a leftover bucket of fireball shots from my party.
From a golf tournament?
No, from our little country music deal. And I think those are good to keep people going. I think if you have a couple good solid beers, that's going to even make you more tired. So I think cocktails early and then taper to beer.
So the strategy is shots of fireball like after the tryptophan kind of hits a little bit,
yep.
Or
keep people
like
going.
Start with a fireball and then
no,
like
I think start with 2 cocktails.
2.
Leisurely watching that first football game, hors d'oeuvres. Then maybe when people start slipping a little bit, mix in a fireball.
You eat the turkey? You make the turkey?
My wife is a great cook, and she's doing our Thanksgiving for 14 people.
So she doesn't trust you with the turkey. Can you carve it?
I usually start carving it, and then she explains I'm going the wrong direction, which I don't really know what that means. And then I go the other direction, or maybe she just takes the knife out of my hands. It's that just what I just said describes our whole relationship, I think, actually. And as I understand it, COVID is wreaking havoc in your family. You won't be able to host?
No, yeah, we originally had some big plans. Yeah, we're going to have everybody
I know
over.
You don't have COVID, just to be clear.
No, yeah, but there are some family members that got bit. So we're on our own now. Kids were crying when they found out. So we're scrambling.
It's looking like rotisserie chicken at the Carter household.
It is, and we'll play it off like turkey. The kids will want to skip the stuffing, but it will be a very normal day. But hey, you got to roll with it.
Do you think there were pilgrims that had rotisserie chicken at the original Thanksgiving?
Good question. No, but have you ever had wild turkey?
Like a group that.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Have you ever had wild turkey?
They missed the Mayflower and they just grabbed rotisserie chicken.
Have you ever had an actual wild turkey as the meal?
No, but this is super relevant for our podcast. We should. That's the name of this episode, Wild Turkey.
Okay, so we'll have a shot of wild turkey after.
And what is a wild turkey?
Like an actual turkey.
But isn't that the same as what I'm going to eat? Or it's not because it was like grown somewhere?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a domesticated, like farmed turkey. The wild turkeys are the ones that run rampant now. Like they didn't exist 10 years ago.
They're on
now
9th Street
everywhere.
all the time.
They're everywhere.
in White Bear all the time.
Okay,
So does that taste different?
Yeah, apparently real gamey or more gamey. I don't know. People are probably going to lose their mind on me, but we'll see. This is my story. I was playing junior in Green Bay, and it was right around Thanksgiving, and I drove a little Volkswagen Jetta. It was a nice fall day, so my moonroof was open.
And I don't like where this is going.
And we get to the top of the hill. I had a good setup in junior. I lived on Country Club Road. I think the address had one digit too. It was like 4 Country Club Road.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was nice.
Was Cooper your coach?
No.
Okay.
Marco Siki. Yeah, he hooked me up. Good pad. So I get to the top of this hill, and you got to go down to a valley, then back up to where the house is.
Okay.
The bottom of the valley, there's 30 turkeys crossing the street.
Okay.
And my billets used to let us hunt deer out of the window and certain stuff like that too. So we could do whatever. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to bring Susie home a turkey for dinner. She's going to cook us a wild turkey.
So you at this time had a shotgun like on your back window of this car, or where?
No, it was I was going to bring her roadkill. So
you were going to hit it. Oh boy.
So I pin it. It's a little stick, and I pin it. I'm going down the hill as fast as I can, and I hit a turkey. I got one. So excited. Took the car a long time to stop. Moonroof was open. Feathers in the car. Me and my was like,
this is the scene in Tommy Boy. I'm waiting for the turkey to come back to life.
well, the turkey didn't die. We look all over for the turkey. Nothing. Grill. My headlights, the grill of the vehicle are busted. There are feathers in the car. We search for hours and find not a drop of blood, no turkey, nothing anywhere. I thought I was going to walk in like a hero, Susie's house. I played in Green Bay, like Wisconsin. I thought everybody in Wisconsin would be super pumped if I brought home roadkill Thanksgiving turkey. It just felt like it'd be a really good story. Instead, nothing except a busted grill.
I think the most alarming part of this story is that you gave me a ride here today. Wow, that is something. So he's out there somewhere.
That turkey.
Somewhere there's a turkey with your grill of your, what kind of car did you have at the time?
Volkswagen Jetta.
There's a Jetta mark on a turkey somewhere.
Yeah, in all honesty though, I probably respect turkeys more than any other animal for that reason, because that thing was so tough. I hit it fast as I could.
They're
go.
big.
Yeah, tough.
When I see them on the road, I don't think you'd want to hit them.
No, and I think guys that hunt turkeys, no, they are bad to the bone.
I love that you tried to do that though.
I just thought my billet mom's name was Susie too. Like if I could just bring home a turkey over the shoulders to Susie, Wisconsin,
and you would have told them that you
hit
hit
it. I was
it.
on top of the world. Yeah, and she'd have cooked it for us.
God, that's a missed opportunity. That's like half of a good story.
I was heartbroken.
It would have been cool because when you first told it, I was like, this is not good. This is not politically correct. This makes me uncomfortable. But then when I think about if you could have gone all the way where you wanted to go, it's all worth it.
Yeah. Okay. So enough about wild turkeys. Let's get to the wild. What do you got for me?
Well, I want to hear about this trip to Florida. I didn't really watch Saturday or Sunday closely. So I know we picked up the 1 point. We snuck our way into overtime, typical cardiac kids kind of approach on Sunday. But what was your sense on the weekend? How did we look against the defending champs and then arguably maybe the hottest team in the NHL, Florida?
Yeah, I think you look at it and you can probably on the surface say, oh, that's great. Like you're competitive right there with two of the best teams in the NHL. And I think that probably is the case. But it's kind of the same story too, where for whatever reason they just fall behind and they're chasing games all the time. And
Did they go down early in the Saturday game too?
They went down early in both, yeah. So
every time, it's amazing.
Yeah, but they're not out of it, which is kind of exciting, right? I mean, it's always dramatic, kind of like the Vikes, like flipping from the Vikes game to the Wild game on Sunday, like has to be dramatic, can't just run away with one. And but they scored 4 in each. 6 on 5 is kind of, I mean, you just know it's actually know what the Wild they're turning this into is a basketball game where you need to tune in for sure for the last 90 seconds because it's going to be the best, right?
I just had a text come across on Sunday, and it just said something like, holy shit, the Wild. And I knew right away. So I pull up the NHL app and, yep, sure enough, I just see the EN, empty net, red, and it's tied. I'm like, there they go again.
Well, against Tampa, it was amazing. I don't know how they're doing this. They pull the goalie with over 5 minutes left. It was like 5 and change. And I don't know what the analytics say, but I was sitting there watching it with a friend, and I was like, they're going to pull him with 5 or more than 5. And then they score. And then we're like, well, what's the play now? There's like 3.5 minutes left, and they put the goalie back in, and you wait till 2. That's what the analytics say. They go ahead and do that, and they score again. It's unbelievable. So they got, I think on the weekend, 3 6-on-5 goals. Like Darby Hendrickson right now is an absolute hero. I don't know if he could probably just throw anything on the board. You ever see that image, whenever it's 6-on-5, they always zoom right in on the coach, and he's got the whiteboard. I was watching intently yesterday, and Darby didn't care. He's just erasing. He's like, yeah.
He's just drawing a smiley face.
Yeah, like whatever, wherever, doesn't matter. Like he knows it's going in. So whatever you guys want. Yeah. So he's got it hanging over the bench, and boom, 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 just draws it up, and they go
Darby's he's got a little bit of twinkle dust that he's spreading on the power play, or I guess the 6-on-5 scenario.
Yeah.
What I have a person that texts me all the time that the Wild are a team of destiny. And it started, I think, with the Winnipeg comeback opening night. We had the other one where they came back, and then we had on Sunday, they did it again. Do you think there's anything to that? Are we special because we are never out of it and come back at the end? Or are we just, how they say like a goalie making a great save means he was out of position?
Right.
So if we're coming back from these deficits, could that be a good thing? Like we're a team of destiny or a special team, or does that just mean we're getting down too much early?
I think it means, hate to take a cop out here, but it means both. Like, I don't think it's sustainable to think that you're in a 7-game series, you're going to be able to chase every single game against a good team. Right. Yeah. But it's nice to know that there's maybe 1 or 2 that you're going to have to chase and steal, and that's going to completely flip the series. Right. I think a lot of times too, you've also got to think like why you're playing. It's cute and cool sometimes to win these regular season games, but I think when you're trying to build something of destiny, you're not thinking about tomorrow, the next day, next month. It's about winning a cup and how they're going to do it in a 7-game series. That's going to be tough to do, but at the same time, you look at the opponents that they're doing it against. You've got Florida, who's maybe the best team in the NHL right now. You got Tampa, who's won the cup twice in a row. To be able to stick with those guys. Now, sure, you can have the argument Florida didn't have Barkov. They're missing their top guy. Braden Point wasn't playing against Tampa, whatever that might be. But the Wild were without Spurgeon, and they're losing some pieces too. But for them to come back against those guys, play hard, go down to Florida, back-to-back situation, and really play well, put up 4. That's the other thing I look at. Both scores were 4-5, right? And to be able to score that many, eventually I think the Wild, the defensive side of the puck is one that you can shore up. I don't think you can coach the offensive side as well. So if you're getting 4, if you can get there, that's a good spot. I feel like you can always clean up the 5 and turn that into 2 or 3, which sometimes, it takes a little while, but I think they can get there. But team of destiny, they certainly have some magic to them. There's no doubt about that, right? Like some belief, and man, it's fun to watch, but how sustainable is it? Yeah. I'm a critic. It's like, okay, cool. This is fun to watch, but how long can you do it? And now again, this is why we have this podcast, right? So you don't sit here and say, okay, I keep waiting for the moment for them to come back down to earth. Maybe they just are special.
I have a comment that couldn't be more Stanley on 7th. So I made my return to Excel Energy Center. I'm currently 2-0. I was there on opening night. I did not leave early. I was there for the comeback against Winnipeg. And I went to see the Dallas game last Thursday. Walk in, White Bear Lake is selling programs.
Yeah.
So right away, like, this starts to feel good.
Did you buy one?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Always buy a program. So I can see who advertises in that program so that they can advertise on this podcast. But so we get in there, and the Russian has 4 points that night. Kind of a sneaky 4 points, right? But my favorite moment was Hartman scored maybe the second goal, and there's a guy next to me. He doesn't even know me, and he just turns to me while we're doing the goal song. So the moment of joy, it hasn't even ended. And he just turns to me and he says, he's got more goals than the Russian. And I was like, oh, Jesus, like, man, like that's what you're thinking about. Like, is that not the most Minnesota thing ever? Like to take Hartman doing well, great value, the 38 special, but then immediately like use that moment of a scoring. We're up 2-0, I think. And he uses it just to say, he's doing better than the expensive guy. And I was just thinking, and then by the end of the night, I could just tell he kind of retreated inward because every assist to Kaprizov, it was just, 4 points. But that is the quintessential Minnesota sports fan comment.
But so now I want to know, how do you think he felt after? Was he upset? Like, did he like that narrative to be able to say that Hartman's doing better than the Russian? Or was he happy that maybe the Russian broke through?
I would say he would have preferred that the expensive import struggled.
Continued to struggle.
And the blue collar flannel, maybe, shoot it wild turkey out of the sunroof of his truck guy would be successful. I think he was rooting against Carell. I think.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love the underdog, the blue collar story, bust out year. That's fantastic. But I think it can survive and can live alongside a star being a star. Like it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. Like, you can have Hartman being great and Kaprizov filling the net at the same time. Like, you can be happy. It's okay.
Well, I'd like to talk about both for a minute. So I got a new number for you. The number is 84. Okay. Do you know what that number is? Besides Randy Moss?
No.
If a player scored 84 points for the Wild, that would be the most in franchise history. Marian Gaborik scored 83 points in 07-08. Carell currently has 18 points in 18 games. He's on his way to 84. He's going to have the most points. And this is, to me, all these naysayers rooting against the star, can't have nice things. That's what he's going to do. He's going to have the most points in franchise history, and he's going to be an expensive star hockey player. Get used to it.
Well, we should talk about this too, because in the first episode of the year, I think we did some over-unders.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I took the over on 40 goals. I think I put it at 39 or something. Is he getting there? Hate to be the devil's advocate. Is he getting there?
Well, I don't really care if it's goals or assists.
I mean, yeah, I think
don't care either. A lot of people misses the little backhand pass. He just makes everybody better around him. So I'm just saying 84 points.
What was your favorite moment of the Dallas game? Like, he had some pretty sweet ones. What did you like? Obviously, the spin around backhand pass, the Gaudreau out front. Is that the one that you're alluding to?
Yeah, and I also isn't that the game where Zuccarello had the great gift-wrapped pass to him?
Yeah, backdoor.
Yeah. That was awesome too. Like, those two guys together is pretty great. I just liked, winning easily. Suter was back in town. They did a nice job on his video. To his credit, he really was watching the Jumbotron, and I think I didn't see when Parise did it, but he seemed to really be present with the crowd, like kind of take the moment for what it was. And he did get a standing ovation. I mean, people were happy. And then, but then just to Dallas just looked bad. They just looked like a nothing team.
Right.
And so it was just just to get a kick-ass win, score that much. I love Kaprizov. The narrative of kind of the angst around his contract bugs me. And so I just like him scoring points. I almost watch him like Guerin probably does. It's like, it's not even about how or what it looked like or if it was a cool play anymore. It's just like, yeah, get the statistics. Hockey DB, just get the number high enough to make it all okay.
You know what I liked about that Dallas game was, and I think that they were challenged. So originally, Zuccarello wasn't going to play with Kaprizov. Kaprizov was going to be with Rask and Gaudreau, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was, hey, Carell, you've kind of been, it's probably not the best word, but it illustrates it the best, is a passenger. Like, you've got to drive the offense. Like, everything, you should have everything go through you, and you've got to be the driver. And I think at times he gets caught being the passenger with Zuccarello. Zuccarello's got great vision. He makes a lot of plays. I think he makes other players better, puts them in really good spots. So he took him away. Well, what was cool is I think you saw Zuccarello be like, no, you're not taking my nesting doll away. Give him back, right? Yeah. So they go out and they have like their first shift. Somehow Zuki gets out there with Rask and Kaprizov, and that's the goal. It's the backdoor tap in. Tic-tac-toe from the corner, forecheck, boom, back of the net. And Carell had that in. I'm surprised the net wasn't smoking. That's an offside one-timer with a pass through the legs, which I don't know that how well he could see it. But that was a laser in the back of the net too. And just like relief. Like if you look at Carell's face, it was relief. Like, nice.
Yeah.
But Zuccarello, he played... That was probably his hardest game I've seen in a while too, because he recognized the situation, the pressure, and then his post-game interview too. He's like, hey, the kid's young. He hasn't played 82 games. He hasn't traveled. He hasn't been in a situation. The Wild had back-to-backs last year, and you could make all the excuses, or whomever can analyze it. You know, the travel's different. The cities are different. The teams are different. The prep is different, and it's true. And he does only have 56 games. He's still got a bunch to figure out. But Zuccarello went out there and was like, hey, the kid's a good player. He's got a lot to figure out yet in terms of what the NHL is actually really like. But he's going to be fine. Everybody take a breather. And I think he probably felt some responsibility there and went out and had his best game, which I think says a lot about him and his nesting doll. He wants to play with them.
Absolutely. They're great together. They see the game in 3D. You know, they just make people look silly sometimes. It's like they're finishing each other's sentences. They know exactly what they want to do. A little bit Sedin-like.
Right. That's why I say the poor man Sedin.
They have some chemistry.
Right.
It's good. I noticed something at the rink that I need your comment on. I have never seen more horrible fake jerseys than whatever China made for our reverse retro last year. The green in a fake reverse retro. So the green you're wearing now is close to the real one. It's a Kelly green, North Star green. There's a dark green that literally 50% of the reverse retros are fake. And it's so funny because it just looks so bad. It's like you're wearing a Maroon Viking jersey, walking around Excel like, hey, I bought this from China. And I get a kick out of it. I wonder what the Wild thinks. Like, okay, half of our fan base buys fake jerseys from China. And for whatever reason, this one, it's like, it has a tag on it that tells everyone. It's the fakest thing I've ever seen.
Don't wash it. The colors might bleed off of it, or
it's the wrong color to start with, which is so funny. So the green looks like the green in a box of 8 Crayola. So the base green on an 8-pack of Crayola crayons, that kind of dark classic green, Oscar the Grouch green, that's the green on the reverse retro that's fake. It's not the light green Kelly like you're wearing. It's just amazing. It's the fakest thing I've ever seen.
Well, I'm #one of us, and I defend those that have the fake reverse retro jersey momentarily because I think that scarcity is a real issue when it comes to those. There was a limited supply, and though I think, and I don't know what the situation was, whether it was the NHL or whomever, but there just was way more demand than there was supply, which I think probably led people to find alternative options. And then I think anytime I've even seen, like, remember the old, it's always a third jersey, whatever it is. It's like copycat, and it's terrible. I've seen like the red jerseys with like the wrong color numbering. You can see it's awful. But so I will defend those people, like give them credit. I will give them credit. If they wanted the jersey, they missed out on the limited supply. They went and solved the problem. It just maybe isn't that
well, I think it tells you something about China. I mean, that is a bad product. So that guy got that thing done. At some point, I think the guy in China had a real one. And then they're like, we're going to make a bunch of these fake. Okay. And so he's looking at them both. He had to just see them come out and just be like, I don't know how to say good enough in Chinese, but like looks at his buddy like, good enough. And the guy's like, good enough.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're going to buy them.
I mean, it's brutal. I don't know. I think I get a kick out of it just because it's like when you go to the grocery store and you know how They have those fake cereals, like it won't be Captain Crunch. It'll be like Marshmallow Mateys or something.
Yeah.
It's like
Fruity-O's instead of Fruit Loops.
That's right. You're wearing a Fruity-O's jersey if you got that. And most people, then you're in the comfort of your own home. Maybe you put it in a little Tupperware container of cereal. Hey, nobody needs to know. But when you rock that reverse retro with the Oscar Grouch green, you're out there, man. It's not a good look. That's faker than the Kardashians, that jersey, man. It's bad. I can't support it. It's tough.
That's like buying a nice bottle of bourbon or something, and then you finish it, so you go back to you buy a cheap one and you fill the nice bottle back up with it, and you got your buddies over. They're like, this is terrible. And you're like, well,
China did you dirty on that. What do you got? You got anything you want to talk about?
No, but this might be a good time. Hey, do we have a sponsor? I don't remember.
We do.
Okay.
And while I'm doing that, I want you to open this. These are cards with carts. We haven't done this in a while. This is pretty meaningful because we're getting into this holiday time period. So go ahead. You're looking for wild players and any notable stories you might have.
And I'll just rifle through them.
Because you played almost 500 games in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, I'll rifle through these.
493?
I don't know. So I'm not a stat guy. Have I ever told you this?
No.
Because I don't have any. Like, if I had good stats, I'd probably be a stat guy, but I've never noticed or paid attention. I don't
know. I think I looked. You did well. So have you been hurt, arrested? What was the third one? Hurt, arrested, or fired in the last, since we recorded last?
No.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate because this will be less relevant to you. But had you been either of those things, you should go to Wachtler Law, WACHTLER law.com. Wachtler's been practicing for 25 years. He's basically the Derek Bugard of lawyers. He's a gentle giant off the ice. Actually, he's not a giant. He's a gentle man off the ice. But when you need some help in crunch time, he does what needs to be done. As he says, he's fiercely independent and afraid of no one. That's Wachtler Law. Check him out. If you're in a pinch, if you're sitting on the street corner and the cops are about to take you away, if you got hurt at work, whatever it is, reach out to Wachtler Law, our sponsor. What do you have in there? Anybody that you got a story about? Any juice? The last time we did this, we pulled Jack Eichel, and he was traded days later. We did pull Talbot, and we thought he was going to have like an amazing run. I can't say that he really did. But what do you got?
Well, the first notable one I had.
Could I see the extras just to?
Yeah, there's
while
some
you're
more.
Talking.
So the first card I opened was that one, Tkachuk.
Oh, I love Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, fiery little guy. And originally I thought, okay, you know what? He's kind of the guy that I'd say he stole Dumbs' mojo.
That's right.
But Dumbs I think he's got his mojo back.
He tore his pec.
Yeah, tore his pec in that fight. Having to stand up for after he smoked Backlund in the middle of the ice like the year prior, right? And then all of a sudden, maybe it was the same year.
So you're saying Matthew Tkachuk with the torn pectoral, Dumba just now is back to the point where he's doing hip checks. He's playing like he did in Red Deer or wherever he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the mojo back.
I like that.
Like he's just playing.
Back when he was smoking Patrick Kane at the Winter Classic, I think he lined him up at center ice.
Right. The Stadium Series game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stadium Series.
Yeah. And that year he was like, Dumbs was unbelievable, and he's on an absolute heater. I think he had 12 or 15 goals. He's on pace for over 30, like a huge number for a defenseman. And maybe that was never going to be repeated. And maybe that was just one of those years where you're like, man, I had a good year, right? But I think he had something going, and it was entirely derailed. And then last year it was fighting it, try to find it, how do I get back there, shoot the puck more, shoot it harder, shoot everything, not reading the situation, just making the decision before you're seeing what's going on out there, right? This year now, I feel like he's just reading it, just free, just playing. Love that, the big hipper he threw. And you know what? He didn't.
I thought he had an elbow on there too, and they didn't call it the one hit.
Yeah. Who was that? What game was that one?
Dallas.
That was the Dallas game.
Yeah, he just drilled the guy, and it looked like he hit him with an elbow, but he didn't get a penalty. I think the guy got a penalty for coming after him.
For roughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the way to handle it now. Like, that was a good hit. nice hipper, good job. Cronwalled him, you know, where you love that play as a D. You should know it. You should be able to read it. A soft play up the wall. I know that winger's going to be looking as soon as he turns his head back for the puck. That's my chance to get going up at him. Dumbs played it perfectly, times it perfectly. So when that kid gets the puck and he starts to look up the ice, he's got Dumbs 24 staring right in his face. He buries him. Don't have to fight. But he also got more hit. How about that one where Foligno stood up for him too?
Yeah.
The young kid. But yeah, no, that was a fun game. He's getting his mojo back, playing good, walking the blue line. Love that.
So you believe this is like tarot cards kind of. So seeing Matthew Tkachuk, that's closing the loop for you that Dumba's back. Okay. This is called Cards with Cards.
It's assurances that Dumbs is back.
This is one of Billy's boys too as well. He'll be on the Olympic team. Okay, who else you get?
Well, I got the only wild member pulled.
Okay,
was
that's
Bugey.
Good. That's good.
Was Bugey. It is good. He healthy scratched.
Last game?
Yeah, last couple. I mean, Pitlick's been off on a heater, so Rask is in the lineup. Somebody has to come out. It's been Bugstead. They've kept the fourth line the same. It's Duhaime, Sturm, and Pitlick, and they've been good again.
Yep.
They were good again this weekend. So he's kind of sitting there waiting for his moment. But, hey, when he gets back in there, maybe he's going to have a special moment, so we can look for that one.
So big things from the Blaine boy Bugstead. That's what we're seeing. Okay.
Yeah. In that Dallas game, I thought was going to be a big night for him for Blaine hockey. Riley Tufte, their number one draft pick in maybe 18 or something, right around there.
Played at Duluth.
Yeah, he had been playing. He got healthied. Bugstead got healthied. So Blaine's looking for a real big bounce back game, and maybe he can put the Bengals on his shoulders when he comes back.
All right, I like it. I like it.
Teddy Bluger. I just like this one because he's a Maverick. Horns up, Hockey Day, Minnesota.
Do you know him?
No, I don't know him. No, but the kid can play, and he went to college at Mankato, and all I know is that Mankato's turning out top tier NHL players.
Are they a sponsor? I don't think I got a check from them last I checked. Oh my goodness, that's just garbage. Who was that? Is that you?
This one's offensive.
Okay.
This one's offensive. It's Michael McLeod.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
Me either. But he's wearing number 20 Devils.
Is this what you used to wear?
That's a special number. That's a special number, and you can't just give it to anybody. So he has a big jersey to fill, and I'm going to have to follow him closely now. Lots of pressure there. Okay. Lots of pressure there.
Hey,
it was Pandolfo.
Can you see this if I kind of... So you're saying that you're surprised that they reissued your number so quickly.
Well, and I'm not sure he understands what it means to wear that, but yeah.
Have you reached out? Did he contact you?
No, again, it's a sign. Now I got to watch a little bit closer. So we'll see how he does. But originally first thought, I don't love it. He's a righty. Don't love that. Let's see. Let me get a good look at his face.
He looks like he's got better facial hair than you do. He's got some.
So he's got promise.
So is it a bad sign that I didn't know that you were number 20 on the Devils and we do a podcast together? Or do you think maybe the organization didn't know? Were you 20 the whole time?
Dude, you've been in my basement. We've recorded these podcasts from my basement, and I have the jersey from the finals hung up right there. You probably looked at the signatures.
Did you have only one number on the Devils?
Yeah, one number 20, and they only gave it to special people.
And okay, well.
Dude.
Well, let's see. So McLeod tallied his first NHL goal for the second period of the Devils' battle against the Flyers. It's January 21. 5 days later, he scored a tie-breaking goal.
That must have been taken away because if you look at it, his stats have 0 goals. He doesn't have an NHL goal yet.
Yeah. How does that work?
They took it away.
Well, I'm really sorry, Ryan.
The guy whoever wrote this from Upper Deck just didn't want to hit delete on the paragraph. He's like, whatever. He's like the guys from China with the reverse retro jerseys. It's close enough. Nobody's going to know, which is my issue. So I
got a question for you because you played in the NHL. And so I've been waiting for you to get a Pat Maroon card, but we never get it. So this guy has won the 3 cups in a row. I guess 2 with Tampa, 1 with St. Louis. And seems to be like a really interesting guy, kind of a big partier. I've seen pictures of him with his shirt off, smoking a cigar after they won it. He just looks like kind of a throwback NHL guy. I guess he would be what you were called the meat. He's a tough guy. But I noticed, so when he won it for the second time, he's in the photo with Tampa, and everyone's doing the number 1 because they just won the Stanley Cup.
2.
And he's doing 2.
Swaggy.
Which right away I was like, that's tough. So every one of those other guys has to explain to their kids why that guy's doing 2. And then last year he did 3 in the team photo instead of 2. So that entire team is telling you they repeated. And so everything I've ever heard about Pat Maroon is this is like almost like a Ryan Malone. This is like a guy you'd want to go out drinking with, and he would be a ton of fun, like a Ryan Carter, or a Michael McLeod from Mississauga, Ontario. But I'm a little the 3 and the 2, like, that really isn't good. Right? As a hockey guy.
So is this what rubs you the wrong way, that it's kind of like, okay, that's a team thing and you're celebrating the team thing. And in that moment,
that's right,
you're doing everything you can
to be about yourself,
to make it about you.
Yeah. That would be like if the Gophers won the national championship, and although PJ Fleck, he probably would do row the boat. I'm trying to think like, I don't even know. It's weird. It's like you're doing your own brand thing in the team thing.
Right.
In the Wii sport, you're doing the I thing.
Right. Yeah. And
it's like in the official team photo.
Right.
As best I can tell, if you search like that classic photo on the ice, he's doing 2 and he's doing 3 when he should just be doing nothing and then 2 last year. Is that a red flag?
I don't think it's a red flag, but I totally see what you're saying.
It's concerning because if I ever do get to hang out with him all night for like a couple nights on the weekend, just cruising around with Michael McLeod and him, I doing stuff like we're down in Mankato, Michael McLeod and I don't even remember his name, Pat Maroon. I just don't want to be surprised if he's like a bad dude. Like I find out he's a bad dude because of this photo thing. There's something in there that's not right.
And you want to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, because everything about this guy, I almost bought a picture of him on eBay smoking a cigar after they won it, like shirt off. I was like, this is like a beer league hockey player that's won the cup a bunch of times.
Have you seen the videos on how he drinks the beer too?
No, what does he do?
I think like gets it swirling first.
And then he drinks it?
Yeah. So
he's the guy who
goes down quicker.
He damaged the cup. The dent, you saw the picture last year, it was on his watch, but he can't talk about it because the NHL they kind of put a gag order on what happened to it. But yeah, I'm a little like I don't feel like I can fully support the character that is Pat Maroon because of this photo.
Just
incident.
One photo. It is bizarre though that
but that's a pretty big photo, man.
Exactly, and you have that same thought twice
that at the ultimate moment of team. Like this is the photo where you're getting your picture with your wife with the wedding cake, and he's like doing a shout out to like his ex-girlfriend or something. I don't know, it's just weird.
You know what I like about that story?
I want to know more. I'd like you to reach out to Pat Maroon.
You know what I like about that story is I think it's also confirmation that it's happening around here. That the Wild are becoming, and that it's becoming a team, and that people notice like those little things where, hey, this guy's making it about him. Bad dude, bad dude, bad dude. Gas him. Doesn't matter how good he is, right? And I'm not saying that's what they're doing about Pat Maroon, but it's to the point where there's an eye for that detail now, right? And you got to exercise these bad guys, because if there's going to be success, it's going to be the team success. And that's what Dean Evison always preaches, right? Like even when we were talking about Zuccarello and Kaprizov not playing together, that he was asked about it in the morning. He's like, hey, somebody wearing the Wild crest will play with those guys tonight, and they shouldn't care about the number on the back. It should be about the crest in the front. He didn't say it in so many words, but that's what he meant, right? And if you're swimming against the current, see ya, right?
No, I agree. And even people noticed like when the guy wanted to fight Dumba and Foligno was like, that you want to fight, you fight me. I mean, you see those little moments, and this team definitely is really connected. From what I can tell, I don't see any, it looks like no clicks. It looks like a good room, and it shows up on the ice. I actually was noticing I looked, and we have 17 guys with 5 or more points, right? And I was trying to figure out if that was a big deal. This was my stat question. And so I looked up all the best goal differential teams, right? So Florida also has 17. And I think by all accounts, that's kind of the hottest team in the NHL. Edmonton only had 13, Calgary 13, the Canes 14. So I think that's got to be good, right? 17 guys with 5 or more points, 18 games into the season. So that would be trending for over 20. You know, imagine having 17 guys with 20 or more points. Holy buckets.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's unique or if that means like, I don't know that we're, I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
yeah, I think it's great. I think if you look at it, you could cross-reference it with guys leading any statistical category, and you click on, for example, goals or assists or, you know, plus minus or points, whatever you want. There's not going to be a member of the Wild leading any one of those statistical categories, right? And probably not even in the top 10. But you could get, maybe Hartman is in goals, or I don't know what he's at, but he's played well enough where he could be top 10 in goals. But you look at it and say, how are they going to do it? Yeah, it's depth. They have to have situations like that play out for them to be good. So yeah, that's absolutely a fantastic stat, and it's going to probably need to continue. You know, Carell's obviously the one where he can probably be top 10 in some statistical categories offensively, you know, scoring goals or assists, you know, points, whatever it might be. But for the most part, no, that's a fantastic number. And I think the way that the team is managed, coached, everything, that's probably a stat that they are very proud of, because it's taken work, strategy, time to make that a reality, and it's showing up. And then at the same time, that's why they're leading the Central in points right now, because of that.
Yeah, it's a Dean Evason byproduct, right? That they're, by making everybody interchangeable Wild teammates or whatever, we're getting this scoring.
And the way he plays them, like how he deploys them, like offensive zone shifts. Like when I was playing Mike Yeo, and this is the way that it kind of was, and this isn't like an indictment, but he'd have the third and fourth line out for 80 to 90% of the D zone draws. D zone start, you guys grind it out, you get it in the offensive zone switch, and the top 2 lines will go out. Right. And because of that, you saw like a huge gap in points in offensive production from your top 6 to your bottom 6. It was never going to be anything that was like this, where you have 17 guys with a bunch of points and they're all kind of clustered in the middle. It was never going to be like that. Well, the way Dean does it is, it doesn't matter. Like this is a D zone draw. It's your shift. Go win it and go play. Well, zone draw, fourth line, you're up. Go take it. Right. It doesn't matter. He just plays them.
I love that. The other stuff that jumped out at me, Goose, 12 points.
Yeah, that jumped at me too.
I haven't heard a word about this guy.
Well, he had a massive week. I think he had 6 points this week alone. Dallas, that's another one where Dallas seemed to get a lot of guys going, and you can read between the lines on why that might be. But Goose got going. I think he had 3 points that night.
Yep.
I think he might have been plus 4. I think Spurge was plus 5. Carell had 4 points. Zuki had 3 points. Everybody busted out that night, right? Big week for those guys. But yeah, no, Goligoski with that many points, he's done it quietly too.
He's our highest scoring defenseman, and we have the highest scoring D group, I think. And then I just love Foligno's stat line, 12 points, 41 penalty minutes. I mean, God bless you. And then just to give Hartman a little more love, the 38 special. It's funny, my daughter's home from college, and she's sitting on the couch with me last night. The reason I didn't watch the Wild Florida or Wild Tampa was I was watching the U.S. women's team beat Canada 3-2. Hillary Knight, 2 goals. So, and my daughter said to me, you know who's just a stud on the Wild? And all I could think of was, I knew it was coming. I go, Hartman. And she goes, well, it wasn't you. It was Hartman. And I said, yep. And I think the reason the state likes him is this is the guy, you'd bring home to dad, right? He's a plus 10, 13 points, 6 feet, 197. I would love to be 6 feet, 197. That's a good number.
Because it's under 200.
It's just great.
I think being an athlete, you want to be over 200, but I could see where being like a normal dude, you want to be under 200. But that's an important number.
That's
like
an action
6 foot
figure.
number.
Yeah. Hartman, the flannel, big fan, 38 special. That's all I don't think and then the other one was, so I know about the Pitlick boy because of the Gophers and their 75 Pitlicks. I don't know anything. Maybe Duheim, you told me about him before or not?
Duheim, yeah. Florida kid?
Yeah, so he went home. He had to get a bunch of tickets, right? What do we need to know about him besides his mustache is a little thicker than yours, right?
Well, that's what I was going to get to is I'm curious what your thoughts are on his mustache right now. Well, hold on. Let me tag the Hartman stuff and then we'll wrap that up.
Okay.
So when your daughter said Hartman's a stud, like, did she mean like as a hockey player?
Well, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I think she meant both.
Okay.
I think she meant like if I was on Google and Hartman's last name was in there and then I clicked on images, like he probably gets both.
Okay.
But I felt as a father, like, you know what?
You're not upset with that.
This Hartman.
I'm ready to have this chat.
As long as he doesn't honk the horn in the driveway for you to come out. If he walks up, as I would expect him to do.
Is he going to drop her off at midnight or
13
before?
points plus 10. He's probably going to pay for dinner because he takes less. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think Mr. Hartman's a upstanding citizen.
Wow, this is probably just going to solidify that even further. He's got a little grease to his game. Slew foot. I think this was against Tampa.
Yeah, I didn't see this.
Yeah, a little PK slew band, little slew foot. But then he ended up fighting Bogosian.
Ooh, yeah. I wouldn't fight him.
No, but it went well. It was good. Yeah, stood up for himself. You gotta love that about a guy who, I made a mistake. I'll take my medicine or dole
he
out
did
some
the
medicine.
slew foot.
Yeah, Hartman.
I love it. So he knew he had to pay the piper.
Right, exactly, and he did. No big deal. Continued to play.
That's what the hockey guys, they call that the honest. He's an honest guy.
He's an honest player.
He's been great. I got to tip the hat though. 12 points with this lineup, Spurgeon, Dumba, to be the leading scoring defenseman's pretty impressive.
All right, before we wrap this up and tell everybody happy Thanksgiving, we probably won't do another podcast before Movember ends, and we might lose some of these mustaches. So we've got to celebrate them while they're here. Duhaim's mustache. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Just based on looks alone.
How do I see it? Can I search for it right now?
Yeah, you can probably search for it. Okay, so then I've got this image here. I would say his is.
Can you turn your computer around?
Yeah, it's the pyramidal mustache. So it's kind of greasy,
called it
upper lip, not great. I don't know if you can zoom in.
Which one's his?
But then you got I can't see it now. It's facing you.
Okay. So this part's going well.
Yeah. John Merrill's is.
I've seen his.
Thick.
I've seen his. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I like his because it looks like, when you have a brush that has a bunch of hair stuck in it.
Yeah.
It seems like he just has like other hairs stuck in there that are going different directions.
Well, you know what it looks like?
Like it's kind of chaotic.
It kind of looks like a horse brush a little bit. It's got that color to it too, like a tannish one.
You know what I'm talking about though? It looks like people like almost like he has Velcro and then like a bunch of other hairs got stuck in there going different directions.
What I think it is like you have one of those brushes that you use to wash your car, but you're like you push too hard on it and you scrub in circles and then eventually
a scouring pad.
Yeah, and then eventually like some of the fibers go every different direction.
Yeah,
that's kind of
his is the best, I think.
Oh, it's hands down the best. Little disheveled.
I gotta see this Duheim on Twitter.
Yeah, check it.
Let me just see if he's. Who else has one? Anybody?
No, but mine's about to go away too. So if you want a selfie with it, we can document it.
Duhaime.
Yeah. Parkland, Florida kid. So to give you the rundown on him, I think we've maybe discussed this before.
But Parkland, where the school shooting was and all that?
I'm not sure, but nice spot where I think that is where it was. Nice spot. A lot of the players live there, and I think his father ended up moving with him, and his mom and sister maybe stayed in Parkland, and they moved up to British Columbia, played just outside of Vancouver, like 2 hours outside. So that's how he ended up getting getting serious about hockey. The family kind of had to split up to give him the opportunity, and now he's paying the parents back. So that's kind of like one of those situations, how Minnesota hockey parents are like gung ho for it. Yeah, greasy.
It's pretty good. I don't know. This might be the best.
He kept it clean though. But Minnesota hockey parents are like, I've invested so much. The kid needs to pay. I need a college scholarship out of it. Well, he's paying the parents back. He's doing well.
So he's giving them the ROI.
Yeah.
I think this mustache is great. And I know we talked about Yellowstone a long way on the way here. That's a Yellowstone mustache.
That is a Yellowstone mustache.
It's just perfectly grown in.
Full lip, like that.
I actually think his is the best over Merrill because Merrill's more of a novelty. It's just so wild.
Yeah.
It's like
it's not weird. It's wild.
It's like when you get bugs on your windshield. You just got a bunch of shit in there. But I think this is, as far as just a pure mustache, that's a nice mustache.
All right. Last thing. We've had a week to let your Yellowstone, Minnesota Wild characters kind of mature, breathe a little bit. Are you keeping them the same?
Yeah, I think
you nailed it.
I really do. I haven't had any. I've actually had a lot of people. What I'll usually get is, I thought about the Carell Beth Dutton thing, and I think you're onto something. Just kind of like they'll even rationalize it differently than the article. They'll go, well, the only person capable of something really extreme on this roster is Carell, and so that's why it's good. It's her. So I feel really good about it. I mean, it wasn't something I took lightly.
Okay, that
was like a college thesis paper.
All right. Well, we did our best Minnesota goodbye here, where we said goodbye 3 times. Couple more topics. Let's end it. This is Stanley on 7th.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Till it's here.
We're here till it's here. Bye.